Are you struggling to keep up with all the leads that you get off the major property portals? And by keep up, I mean respond directly back to every single person who submits an inquiry on the portal on one of your properties. Sometimes you can have properties that receive upwards of 50 to 100 leads. Other times it can be a little bit quieter. But wouldn't it be great to be able to respond to these people as if it's coming from you, and to have the system completely automated so that you can actually get back to people who either respond directly to you on your automation or go through the process that you want them to go through. For example, a buyer pre-qualification survey. Well, Property Funnels has a portal integrator, which is backed by a automation that we use through Zapier. And this is a free feature that we enable for our clients at Property Funnels. And today I thought I'd just show you exactly what it looks like so that you can get a quick picture. So what you see in front of me is a landing page that your buyers will be directed to after submitting an inquiry on Property 24. But before we get there, let me show you the back end of the automation so that you have an understanding as to how someone would get here. So what we've got here are two specific workflows. So this is the first one, and then the 100-day portal follow-ups is the second. The first one basically collects the lead when it gets added to your CRM. So when it enters your Property Funnels CRM, they're going to enter this workflow first. So they will come in here. We'll give it about 30 seconds before we respond because we want to make sure that the lead is assigned to you or to the listing agent on your team so that all leads are responded to directly by the actual agent who's responsible for that listing. Then what we do is we pop them an email, and we can also do SMS here if you want to enable SMS in your account, and soon to be WhatsApps too. But for now, we're using the email just because of the bulk that you sometimes get and the fact that people do tend to go to their inbox once they submit an inquiry because they have entered their email address. So what you see here is it's going to come from the user that's assigned to that lead. So that would be the listing agent. So it will have your name, it'll have your email address here. It acknowledges who they are by their first name, and basically just says your interest has been noted. And what we're doing in this case here is we're acknowledging, we're telling them the listing address, which can also be hyperlinked to send them back to Property 24 or private property. Whatever the listing URL is for the property, we can pull that into this workflow too. So that if they're inquiring on more than one property, let's say they inquired on 10, yours was the only one to get an automatic response back to that client. They're not going to remember exactly which property it is, but by clicking on this link with the address, they'll have a quick picture as to that was the property that they actually inquired on. So in this case, we're just asking for a response here, but we can change up these workflows to make them go to the pre-qualification landing page, which I'm going to show you in a second. So essentially in this workflow, we're just asking them an open-ended question, a yes, no. Do you have bond finance in place, or do you need help in this regard? So what we do then is we wait 2 days for them to respond. So we're actually putting the ball back into their court, asking them for a response. And if they do respond within 2 days, we send you an internal notification to say, you've received a response from the Property 24 campaign, and on this listing address with this person, that's their contact information, and this will be the response that they inquired or they sent back to you. So if they don't respond, we do send them a follow-up. So there's a follow-up email here, basically just trying to keep the conversation open. So we're just reminding them who we are. So, hey, it's username from this company or this agency. You inquired about 2 days ago on this listing address. I'd like to touch base with you. Is there anything I can help you with? Again, you've got the user's email signature so that this is reflective of the actual brand. And because it's in a plain text environment, it feels more human to the person receiving it. So now what happens then is we send them that email, and then we put them into a 100-day portal follow-up. So basically, this is a done-for-you campaign with content already to stay in touch with this buyer. On average, a buyer will start the process and complete the process within about 90 days or so. So what we're doing is we're giving you the ability to stay in touch with the buyer who might actually just be browsing the market right now, but might not actually know exactly what they want to buy. So this is the 100-day portal follow-up. And as you can see in a second, the content will already be created for you. If you get this as a client of Property Funnels, you can come into this workflow and you can edit any one of these emails. This is your system to play with and make it more personalized to you. So you can see the first email here. It's just, how's your journey going? And this content is already done. This click here isn't taking them back to the portal. This will take them back to your website or to your portion on your website. If you're a single agent and you have an account. If it's an office environment and you have an office account through Property Funnels, this will go back to the general buying page on your website. So we're driving people back to your website so that they can go and see the listings that are active there right now. Then we wait about 10 days, we send more emails, and as you can see, all of this stuff is already done. We've got a wait step of 10,000 days, and this basically means that you have the opportunity to continue this flow. So maybe you want to turn 100 days into 200 days or 300 days. You can do that. And essentially, that just gives you the flexibility to stay in touch with people as long as you want them to be in touch with you. So what this does is it basically picks up the conversation when somebody's in the consideration phase and gives them an easy way to contact you. It puts your name, your brand in front of them in their inbox consistently over the next 100 or so days, so that you can actually stay in touch with these people, that when they actually are considering potentially buying, they will remember that they got an email from you and they might actually reach out. And we've seen it happen over and over again. So let's say, for example, the first email was a pre-qualification funnel that you sent them to. So what this is let me just go back a few steps here so that you can get a quick picture. So they will click through here. So basically we're telling them, hey, if you want to improve your chances of getting bond finance, why not get pre-qualified? It's free, it's easy to do, and it improves your chances by, I think it's upwards of 70 to 80% according to Uber. So they'll come to this page. It will be branded according to your brand. And again, these kinds of things in the text can actually be customized. But essentially what we're asking them first up is a wish list. We want to classify our leads into our database a little bit better than just having a whole bunch of names and emails from the portals. We want to basically say, David Steinberg, this is what he's looking for. So this first part covers the wish list. So as you can see, they fill in their information. They can choose if they're a first-time buyer or a second-time buyer. If they're a first-time buyer, we're just going to ask them, when are you looking to buy and your budget. However, if they're a second-time buyer, so basically an existing homeowner, we ask them, the follow-up question is, what do you plan on doing with your current property? So they can either choose keep it, sell it, or rent it out. So obviously for you, the sell it and rent it out are two opportunities to pick up a seller from your buyer's campaign. So let's say they are a second time and they want to sell it. Then again, we ask them when they're looking to buy. So we get a quick picture in terms of their urgency to purchase, their budget. And again, this doesn't have to be a maximum of 5 million plus. If you operate in a middle market, these can be lower. If you operate in a very high-end market, these can be upwards of 20 million. So again, this stuff is customizable. So please don't look at that and think the properties I deal with are 20, 30 million, and 5 million plus is a small decimal of what the bigger number may be. So let's just choose 5 million plus. What kind of property? So they can choose here. Again, everything is customizable. So if it's beach houses that you deal with, if it's farms and commercial real estate, that can be added here too. So I'm just going to say a townhouse. How many bedrooms? Again, customizable. Let's say it's 4 and 3 bathrooms, garages or carports. So this is perfect for sectional title where there is no garage oftentimes, but there may be a carport. So you can obviously choose, give them the option to say they need, maybe 2 carports or 2 garages. And do they want a pool, yes or no? So let's say yes. And then they can list their preferred suburbs here. If you operate in a very micro environment, you can actually put your own suburbs in there that they can pick, or sort of like suburb areas. If you're looking at Johannesburg, for example, you can say Bryanston, Morningside, Strathaven, whatever the case may be. And you can have your set criteria and maybe even other, and then they can fill in their other suburb. So they fill this in, they submit this form, and this lead gets updated from your lead that came in from Property 24. So within 2 minutes, they've received a response from you, they've completed a wish list, and all that information is now filled in on that contact. Once they submit here, we take them through to a credit consent page, which is there to help you basically get the information that you need so that you can go back to the bond originator that you work with or your preferred supplier of bond origination. And this will go through to that person once they submit this form. So your bond originator in real time will also start receiving leads with the right information as it takes place. So over here, if I just go back a few steps so that I can take you from the beginning. So this caters to a single applicant as well as a co-application at the same time. So they will put in their name, they will give you their ID number. So I'm just going to do that. They can upload a copy of their ID document here too. And the co-applicant can do the same. So applicant number 2. And then they need to consent. And again, this is changeable to whoever you're using, if it's Mortgage Max, if it's Uber, Betterbond, or if you use any of the other aggregators, it really makes no difference. So this is customizable to what you need it to be. So they would click yes, and then signed at, so they can say where they're based. We can date stamp it too. So let's say today is the 1st of June. They can sign on this form, and the co-applicant can sign on the form too. And once they submit this inquiry in total, that the credit consent part goes to, you get notified, and your bond originator gets notified on email with all this information so that they can start the process as quickly as possible, get back to the buyer as quickly as possible. And again, they've got the documents that the person has already supplied in their inbox too on the email, together with the signature and the consent, so that it can speed up the process of bond application. So this is a quick snapshot of what we do for our real estate customers who need a solution to Property 24, private property, their own website leads that they receive, so that they can be on top of every single one of those people as they come in and stay in touch with them over the long term. If this is something that you're interested in pursuing for your own business, whether you are an office, whether you operate as a small team or a single agent, Property Funnels can have a solution no matter what your setup looks like. And if you're interested, please do fill in the form below or get in touch with us, and we'll be sure to show you exactly how this works and get you set up within the same week. Take care, and I hope to see you soon.